What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Masculine Health Solutions podcast, where we are blessed to be joined by Jeff Nuziard, who's gonna break down basically how to cure erectile dysfunction once and for all, and also break down how it actually happens, right? Because there's a lot of different things that come into play when ED starts to hit us. You know, it doesn't matter how young you are, old you are. There are different things that kind of need to be brought to the light, and that's what this episode is going to focus on. Obviously, the solution, because I'm big on that, and I want to make sure that we can avoid that as much as possible. But I think, being preventative, the way that we go about things is important as well. First and foremost, Jeff, man, how are you today?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for having me on. This is great.
Hey, man, it's awesome to have you here. And I kind of wanted to get one of the first things, just to figure out how you kind of came about this journey, man. Like, what spurred you into this direction?
Yeah, I woke up like every other kid out of high school and said, I want to fix broke penises for a living. Yeah, no, it wasn't like that. I was doing great. 27 years old. I had a testosterone level of 1185.
Okay.
At 40, all of a sudden, I couldn't perform sexually for nothing. And it was embarrassing, humiliating. My mind was very sexual. My body was saying, I'm not, and I don't want to play. So first I started getting my hormones tested, and I was at 305. That was a problem.
Yeah.
And so I got my hormones back optimized, and then I didn't, I still was not right. I was better, but I wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally committed my life and started researching and developing this whole thing of how do you repair erectile dysfunction without pills or surgery? Because the pills were working and then they didn't, and that's what I find with most people today. They come in my office and they're like, hey, I've been on Cialis for the last 5 years and it was working great. Now it's not at all. So I was able to figure out why that is. The whole problem, erectile dysfunction is not a blood flow problem. It's not caused by blood flow. Blood flow is a result of erectile dysfunction, but it's not a cause of it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I was able to figure it out and get down to the nitty gritty. It took me many, many, many years. And then we were able to get a patent issued on the whole process to get it done. So I'm very fortunate. And the great thing about it is we have a 97.2% success rate.
That's insane. That's
very proud
insane.
of it.
As you should be, yeah. Because most of the things that, and I hear that all the time, it's kind of like, you'll take a pill or whatever, and it's kind of like a Band-Aid. And it doesn't really ever cure the issue, right? Which is very different to what RegenMax is doing, which is something that we're going to dive deeper into in a little bit. But I want to know why erectile dysfunction really happens and what's kind of the root of it when it comes to most guys. I guess like on average, like, midlife crisis, well, not midlife crisis, but, you reach your midlife and you're kind of like, see things start to go down as far as testosterone, like you mentioned for yourself. What are some of the like key components that lead to this happening?
So this is really interesting. And it's really simple too. And I think it's so simple that people were just kind of dancing around it. Every white paper that I read was discussing bits and pieces of this, and no one ever connected all the dots and just put it all together. So what happens, most people know that we stop producing testosterone somewhere in our 20s by on average of 2% a year. Well, that's not the worst part of it. But what I found is if you think of your body like an electrical panel at home,
mm-hmm.
when your testosterone comes down and hits a magical level, which is different for everybody, but when it hits a certain level, it opens the door to that breaker panel. And so your body starts turning breakers off one at a time until the last one's turned off and we expire. That's the aging process. So the first thing I discovered was we don't age and lose testosterone. We lose testosterone, and that is what activates the aging process in our bodies. So the first breaker that gets turned off is our production of collagen. You're thinking, well, that's not a big deal. What's collagen have to do with it? A lot to do with it. It happens to men and women. Women notice it because they're in the mirror every day doing makeup and hair and whatever. And they're like, hey, where'd that line come from? I didn't have that before. Where'd that wrinkle? I didn't have that. And so they notice it pretty quick. Men, we don't care about that stuff. And we're just getting on with our life, having a great time. Everything's good. But the collagen we have is starting to degenerate because we're not producing more or new. So the problem is the corpus cavernosum, the internal tissues of the penis, they're two tubes, and they're big sponges basically in the middle. And you have veins that pull the blood in, and those sponges fill up. Well, when you're healthy, they fill up completely, and then they activate two muscles behind the scrotum that lock the blood down. When that locks the blood down, you've got a good erection until orgasm. Then those muscles relax, and the smooth muscle cells that wrap the corpus tissue squeeze and push the blood back out. They actually flex at that point and push the blood back out. So I started digging in deeper and deeper with that. I'm like, oh my God, that's the problem. Everything I was reading saying with testosterone deficiency, your collagen breaks down. Well, that sponge that I'm talking about is held together by collagen. Collagen is a big part of that. So it ends up being just like the kitchen sponge on your kitchen sink at home. It's, when you first opened that up, took it out of the package, it was double the size. It was pliable. It would absorb everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then it dries out and doesn't work well, and you got to throw it away. Well, we don't get the option to throw ours away and buy a new one, right? So then what happens is your body overcompensates for injuries or problems. So your body's like, hey, bud, you're not absorbing all the blood we're sending in. So the veins develop a little atrophy to shrink up to send less volume in. So now you have 75% erection and can't maintain it. Then 50%. And they keep developing more atrophy until you just aren't having any flow at all. So as I said earlier, blood flow is a problem, a result of erectile dysfunction. It's not what started it. The first symptom of erectile dysfunction is I can get erect, but I can't maintain it.
Yeah.
And a lot of men can relate with that. Like, that's where I'm at now. Well, and to prove the point about the sponge theory, this is why the Cialis and Viagra doesn't work anymore. It's not that those pills stop working or we get resistant to them. We don't. They work. They dilate vascularity. I have a lot of physician friends that prescribe them to their patients that are in real high stress jobs. And if they're having a real bad stress job, take 20 milligrams and your blood vessels dilate and blood pressure calms down. Okay, cool. And so I asked these guys, well, it's not working now with the pills, but do you notice anything when you take the pill? And they said, yeah, it gets a little firmer, but it doesn't get erect. I said, that's because they work and you have blood going in and blood going right back out. And because you're not absorbing it, your sponge is broken. So I figured out, okay, if I can fix the sponge, I know I can fix the veins. That technology's been around for quite a while. I could fix and rebuild veins, but how do we fix the sponge? So I've got quite a bit of experience, and I'm very deep into the laser world. And I knew if I could get the laser to work the way I needed it to, put heat in there, I could get that tissue hot enough to remodel collagen. And so that's what took a long time, is figuring out the right settings for the laser and how much power to use, how much power not to use. And so, yeah, then we're off to the races. I fixed the veins, I fixed the sponge, and then we got to get those hormones back optimized again. If we don't get those hormones back to optimization, it'll just degenerate right back. You'll just go right back to where you were.
Interesting. And when it comes to lifestyle factors for a lot of guys that are unfortunately, starting to lose erections and having that play into it, are there things that you would recommend, like before the guys start off with RegenMax, that you would just say, hey, you should probably stop doing this and you should probably, start walking or start doing some type of cardio? Is there some other type
Absolutely.
of
Yeah, a body in motion stays in motion.
Mhm.
And I tell people all the time that here's what's crazy. This is so crazy. We have more young people coming in today that are testosterone deficient than I've ever seen in my life. And I'm talking in 20s. Got a 24-year-old collegiate athlete, Division I, plays for one of the biggest universities in Texas, comes in, his testosterone level's 400.
How?
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm seeing it all the time. I had a 30-year-old female in today. Her testosterone level not even readable. The lab report says undetectable. So that's just what we're seeing. But I think there's a lot of things going on there. Number one, we have a very sedentary lifestyle now compared to my generation or generation above me, is because, you didn't have computers and phones that you sat on all day long.
Yeah.
Number one, you actually had to get out and go to a friend's house. You didn't just Zoom FaceTime them or something. And we were a lot more active. One of the worst things they ever did was take PE out of middle school. A requirement. That's the worst thing they ever did. And we're getting, and then also there's a cultural thing going on with food. We have more fast food in our country than ever before. It's so quick and easy. But what we're doing is we're trading away health and longevity for convenience.
Yeah.
Whipping that drive-through, get you a burger, get you this, get you that. And it's horrible for you. So I tell people, you got to get rid of the sugar. Sugar is the number one destroyer of collagen, period. Get rid of the sugar. You don't have to even be a crazy health food nut. Just eat a general healthy, balanced diet. Stay moving. Don't eat the sugar. Most people drink sugar, with sodas and all that crap. And that's the worst. I mean, that's horrible.
Yeah.
So, and not only that, it also causes inflammation in your body. So it doesn't allow your body to function properly either. So those are things. And then there's some really cool supplements out there. I'm not going to treat this 24-year-old, for hormones. I mean, he's going on family and stuff like that. And although it's probably rare, there is about a 2% chance of 5-6 years of being on hormone replacement that'll make him infertile. Basically, he won't be able to have kids.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that, but there are some really cool supplements out there. Like one of them is my favorite. It's a mixture of Fedogia agrestis and Tunka Ali. Those are two Nigerian roots that have been proven time and time again. You're going to get about a 200 to 300 point increase in your testosterone level by being on those. Other than that, I'm not a big fan of like these testosterone boosters. I think it's just a big money grab is what it is. But there's a thing you can get on Amazon. It's like $17 to $20 a month. And you buy, it's called Ultra Fedogia. And it's a high milligram amount of both of those roots. Has some L-arginine in it. It's really, really good for you. And that will definitely keep your testosterone levels good. Not back up to the 1,000 that you once were at, but that'll be pretty good.
Yeah, at least it's a step in the right direction. I mean, I kind of lean towards the fact that I don't know if it's a conspiracy or what, but it just seems like when it comes to the food that we're eating, everything around us, it seems like it's almost poisoning us and just kind of bringing down like testosterone levels. Because I go into like the microplastics, learning more about xenoestrogens and estrogenics that's found in our food and all that. It just seems like we're living in a pot of like things that are not good for us, just all over the place.
You're so right. And all that stuff is designed. It tears down testosterone big time. I'll give you something really crazy to think about. I think, and this is not anything political, this is a medical fact. I think the reason we're having all this gender identity crisis stuff going on in America today, I honestly believe they're testosterone deficient.
Yeah.
If you look at these guys that are wanting to be women, they're feeling they're high estrogen, right? So they're estrogen dominant, testosterone deficient, and they're feeling female. And then, indoctrinating education and what have you, they're telling, well, maybe you are, and plant that seed in you. But they truly have a hormone problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of what's going on. Number one, get out there and exercise. Start walking, start running, go to the gym, lift weights, put some stress on the body. Number one. Number two, get your hormones looked at. Get on Ultra Fedogia. All these things can help you. And you got to cut out the sugars and the fast foods. Those destroy hormones.
100%. And it's true. It's kind of like going back to some of those transgender athletes or whatever I don't know. It's kind of like, it seems like it's a multi-pronged attempt at like, I don't know, like destroying manhood because they talk about toxic masculinity and all these different things, but I'm like, it's kind of ironic if you look at hyper masculine societies, you'll actually see that things are actually regulated more peaceful because the men kind of knew their role. They knew what to do. Right. And I
Right.
think a lot of it came from like eating whole foods, going outside, hunting,
That's right.
being amongst your clan, protecting your woman. It's very basic, but at the same time, I think we have in this modern society, I think we got too comfortable. We're eating garbage, and I think there's just a lot of confusion going on. And now it just seems like, for some reason, instead of addressing this, we are finding different ways to bandage it. And one of the ways to go about it is like start indoctrinating kids with like gender theory and all these different
Right.
things, which I think just don't make any sense whatsoever.
Put a Band-Aid on everything. That's the American way. Let's just cover up.
Yeah.
American medicine treats symptoms, not problems.
Uh,
And everything's a Band-Aid. It's
100%.
temporary.
Yeah.
And just like people are looking for the temporary energy boost, the temporary high, all those energy drinks that people are killing. Like I'm seeing them drink 2 and
Yeah.
3 a day. They want energy boost right now. They want a chemical high right now. I want to eat, so I want to pull in that driveway right now. Everything is the right now microwave
Hmm.
society. And that's not how it works, man. I mean,
No.
think like you just said, people hunt once a year now, when you used to have to go out and hunt every day for your food.
Yeah.
I got guys that come in my office, 70, 75 years old. They're having erectile issues, but I draw their blood and their testosterone at this age of 70 is higher than some of these 35-year-olds I'm getting.
Yeah.
And they have no testosterone replacement. But they grew up working out in the field, working all blue collar, all working hard, with your hands, moving constantly, staying always moving. Totally different mindset, totally different culture.
Yeah.
Tougher. They are so mentally tough. And
Yeah.
not
It's
what we
kind
have
of
today.
no, yeah, I totally agree with that because it's I work in a place where we got the blue collar guys working alongside the white collar guys, and you can just look at us and tell the difference.
That's
It's
right.
like, well, this guy looks like he could survive, and this guy looks like he might bend over backward. Yeah, it's a very very different mindset that kind of goes with it. But going back to solutions and cures, one of the big things that I think is extremely important is when you were discussing RegenMax, it seems, and like you mentioned before, you have a 97% success rate. What does that process kind of look like from when they come to your office, you address the situation? How do you go about treating these issues? Because from what you've told me so far, it seems like, this is not just a pill that you're giving people. It seems like it's a whole process that's involved with it.
Yeah. It's a complete process, and um, there's no pills, no surgery at all with this. I can't stand either one of those. And so I'm not a fan of any of that. So it's basically a 4-pillar process. You come into the office and we treat the veins, we treat the collagen, we optimize your hormones. And I'm not a big fan of injectable testosterone. There's all kinds of debates going on about that. That's the best. And my problem with it is, I go back to the real basics of it, is I don't understand why a 6'5", 300-pound man gets the exact same dose that a 5'10", 175-pound man. I mean, that
Yeah.
didn't make any sense to me at all.
Mm.
But that's what it is. That's what they do, and it's zero sense. Another thing is it's cottonseed oil or grapeseed oil, and your body has to break that down to get to the testosterone molecules to absorb them. So it's really kind of all over the place. There's a lot of health issues associated with injectable testosterone that are not associated with bioidentical. So we do bioidentical hormone replacement. And then in the process of this, I developed a biologic that we put in the penis that actually makes all this happen relatively quick, like in weeks, not years.
Hmm.
So I liken it to going to the gym. There's a lot of correlations. When you see your body start to change, that's not the time to quit. That's the time you keep going and keep
Yes,
going.
sir. Yeah.
So it's a year long. When you sign up for RegenMax, you're committing to a whole year of treatments. It's basically unlimited treatments. But um, the point of it being, it's not going to take you a year to get fixed. Most of our guys, depending on severity and if there's any other health issues, most of our guys are seeing changes. They're starting to see changes, waking up with a little bit of morning wood, and stuff like that about 3, 4, 6 weeks in.
Wow.
And then they're fully back in the game 8-10 weeks in.
Wow.
So to which I say, great, let's keep going. Let's keep that and solidify the work we've done. Let's make it stay. If you do nothing and you finish RegenMax and you do nothing, if you don't do your hormones or and you eat like crap, you're probably going to get a good year to 2 years out of it. And it's going to go right back. If you will just take basic care of yourself, walk, keep your heart rate up every day, and eat just a good balanced meal, and you get your hormones and keep doing your hormones, you'll die before that does. I mean, it lasts. I got patients I treated 10 years ago doing great.
Wow.
Yeah, doing great.
And initially when they come in, is that where you usually start off with hormones? What does the process actually kind of look like? It's like hormones
And so
first.
you come in for a consultation. We talk about all the medical issues in your body, everything's going on. And then first thing we do is we draw your blood. And that day we draw your blood and we'll get it back the next day. But so we draw their blood and then we put them back in a room and we'll actually do the first treatment on them. And then they come back 1 week later and we do the second treatment and the biologics get put in and we do their hormones at that time. So when all that takes place, that's their longest appointment. They're about an hour. Okay. And then a week later, you come in for your third, which is just, again, treatments. And then after that, it's every other week. And about treatment 8 or so, maybe 10, if we're starting to get the benchmarks we want to see happening, 4 weeks off and let your body totally regenerate, recover. We've just put a lot through it. Let it do its thing, right? And then at that point, they start back up again every other week for about another 8 to 10 treatments, and we take time off. And that goes for the whole year.
Wow.
Pretty simple to do. It's not taxing on people. And I'll tell you, most people, the stories that I get are mind-blowing. And that's kind of what keeps me going, because I've been doing this a while now, and sometimes I'm just like done. But these guys and their stories and their wives come in, and I mean, they got their life back.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for you, it's probably just kind of a day to day where you kind of get bored with just like, okay, here we go again. But at the same time, it's kind of seeing the results and how people light up after it, right? It's got to be pretty gratifying to see exactly how people feel. And it's almost like, hey, man, you brought me back to life. My marriage was pretty much dead. Like I can't imagine what that's like.
Yeah, I'm getting all those stories, and a couple 40, 48, 45, I guess, or no, I'm sorry, 51 and 50. And hadn't had sex for a couple of years, and they were bicking at each other, and it was getting bad. It was getting really bad. And he comes in, starts treatment. About a month in, he's like, this is incredible. Oh my God, I can't believe it. He starts engaging with his wife again. She comes in because now it's hurting her, and she can't keep up. So she comes in, we treat her, and I'm telling you, these guys are like the newlyweds. I mean, they're so happy, and yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's awesome to see. I did read that in the page here that I have as well, that you also treat women. How does that kind of go about? Is it the same kind of deal, or how do you?
Same thing. Obviously it's a different firing apparatus because we're going intravaginally into the canal, so it's different, but same exact thing. The difference between a penis and a clitoris is the penis has the urethra and the clitoris don't. It's the exact same tissue. It has corpus cavernosum, 2 tubes, sponges, everything. So we treat it the exact same way. We treat the clitoris as well as the vaginal canal, and vaginal canal is lined with what are called rugae, or ridges, basically. And when those flatten out because of what's called vaginal relaxation syndrome, all of a sudden you get dry because those ridges are what creates the wetness. So, a lot of doctors say, well, here, put this estrogen cream on and you'll be all right. Well, again, it's a Band-Aid. How about we fix the problem?
Yeah.
So we go in with a laser, and usually the women respond very fast. Usually they, by the second, third treatment, they're like, man, this is crazy. My whole life's changing. So a lot of fun.
And how does the laser frequency kind of work? Is there like, I mean, do you just kind of get in there? Like, how does that all break down? Because I have no idea how that really works. I'm
Yeah.
completely ignorant
So
to it.
the laser world is really kind of intense. Laser medicine has come so far. And I tell physicians all the time, if you don't have a versatile laser in your office, and I'm not talking about aesthetic stuff, getting your face done or
Hmm.
whatever. There's so much medical things that you can do with a laser. If you don't have a laser, you're behind the eight ball, because that's the technology that's happening. That's medicine tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we could fix with a laser that you can't fix any other way. So basically, this is a probe that goes intravaginally, and there's no pain in this, by the way. I've never had a woman even say ouch. Um, Goes intravaginally, and it rotates in a glass sleeve. So there's no friction or no movement. Nothing's touching flesh or fluid. The sleeve goes in, and the probe goes in, and it's firing in a circular motion all the way around. And it's using laser energy is measured in what's called joules per centimeter square.
Hmm.
And so you got to figure out the right joules per centimeter square to get the heat in. Too much, you can burn. Too little, you're not doing anything. So you got to figure it out. And we've got it figured out to where we know exactly what we got to do with men and women. But again, that's kind of what took so long, is trying to figure out the right frequency, the right, what's called fluence, which is the energy that goes into the tissue. So don't need a cooler. There's no pain in this. No pain in this.
That's interesting. That's interesting because it seems like, I mean, I'm surprised it's not really at the forefront for so many other issues that we have. It seems
I
like you could
agree.
use it for so many different things instead of, and to your point too, where you mentioned pills and surgery, I've heard a lot of people say the same thing, like, hey, we're done with surgery when it's not necessary. A lot of athletes talk about how they go to Germany and, I think there was one guy that came on the show and talked about how, like, yeah, they would treat his knees with the same deals, like shockwave therapy. Um, I forgot what else they had, like some type of tissue repair, but it was a combination of different things that didn't involve surgery. He came back, he felt like $1 million and he could keep playing.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. Well, I mean, it works out well for you because in RegenMax, I mean, most patients are going to have to come to you to get this treatment done, right? But it
Yeah.
seems as though it's something that should be more popular amongst just the general medical field.
It should be. And unless you're a regenerative medicine doctor or a functional medicine doctor, I hate it, man, but they're stuck in their mindset of
Yeah.
1982 medical school books that,
Yeah.
they haven't changed the curriculum since 1982. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the science has advanced so much. They don't even teach hormone replacement in medical school.
Yeah.
So laser energy, I mean, you're talking about what's called duplicate contracture, where you see, hands kind of come in like this and they can't straighten up.
Yeah.
I can totally cure that with a laser. Plantar fasciitis, stress urinary incontinence for a woman, I could totally reverse that. Um, Headaches, thyroid issues. There's so many things that you can do with laser heat. And unfortunately, doctors say, it's all snake oil. Well, because you don't want to get off your butt and do it. You're stuck with it. You'd rather just write that damn prescription and call it a day.
Well, the thing is too, it's kind of, I remember watching Dope Sick where they got into like how they get the blowbacks and all that. So it seems like it's kind of entrapment in a way where it's like, hey, you know what? You're broke. Just prescribe the pills. You'll be all right. You'll get your cash. So I think there's that part to kind of keep in mind as well. But another thing that you also mentioned when it comes to RegenMax, or one thing that I'm reading about here, is the shockwave therapy. Can you kind of, get into how that works? Because I'm curious about that. I've heard about the massage guns and these other different things, and people have mentioned shockwave. I think there's a thing called like Black Phoenix. Susan Bratton was actually on the show talking about how like it actually helps to break down plaque buildup and stuff in your penis as well. How
Absolutely.
how and what kind of shockwave therapy do you use?
Well, you got to understand, the shockwave device, there's two kinds of shockwave devices. They have a medical grade, and then they have one that you could buy on the internet for home use.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you, those aren't really as powerful. And so it requires a whole lot more doing it at home. But you can overdo it too and create some damage. But
Yeah.
that's what creates what's called angiogenesis. That's what creates building new blood vessels. It also puts micro tears in the tissue, just like lifting weights. Again,
Yeah.
you tear your muscle down and your body at the cellular level rebuilds that muscle. So the shock wave puts micro tears in the tissue. It also breaks down the veins that are full of atrophy and half the size they should be. And when that happens, your body is forced to create new veins to replace those. So, I mean, in a nutshell, that's how it works. And you put it directly onto the penis for a certain number of pulses. Our protocol is different than, like, there's Gainswave that's been out there forever. And our protocol is different than that because I don't think that was done 30 years ago. And like I said, everything is advanced and changed, so science is constantly moving. And I think if it's like being a football coach, if you don't keep up with the game will pass you by.
Yeah.
And, whoever heard of RPO, when I played football, it didn't exist. Right. So, I mean, now you just got to be able to do that kind of, you got to keep up with the game, and you got to keep up with science. Science changes all the time. Just in the last 10 years,
Yeah.
it's changed drastically.
Exactly. Especially with like AI and all these other things that you can start to integrate into things. It should help us evolve faster, not stay stuck in the same place when everything around us is changing. But for some reason, when it comes to medicine, we're just like, well, we got to play it safe. But I'm like, well, you know what?
Yeah,
It's like the whole purpose of science is to observe and then test theories out and either prove it right or prove it wrong.
exactly right. I completely agree with you. Prove it right or prove it wrong. I love that. And that's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine my grandfather died of prostate cancer in 1980. It was a death sentence if you were told you had prostate cancer. Now, it's almost outpatient surgery. I mean, it's not a big deal. You're going to be fine. Let's get her done. And yet, that's because science has advanced so much. Just in 10 years, we're doing hormones differently now than we were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So everything changes.
No, and that's the thing. I don't know. For me, I kind of get hung up on it because like during COVID, I was learning a whole lot more than I should have, diving into things that I didn't really care for before, only to realize I'm like, wait a minute, why are certain laws built to protect almost big pharma in certain ways? Yet, if a practitioner tries something that's completely different out of the norm, he gets chastised and probably will lose his license, even though he's testing something that actually works or
That's
proving
right.
that you can cure things, right? And that's kind of where I'm like, okay, well, what are we doing here? Like, are we looking for solutions or are we just looking for ways to make money? And that's kind of one of the issues that I try to bring up on this show is like, let's talk about the things that actually cure and help people, not just the stuff that I'm like, is already out there. We already know about it, but I'm like, okay, cool. Pfizer's making all kinds of money from Viagra. Like, what else can we do that will work for the rest of our lives, right? And that's the thing with RegenMax, which I'm like, this is cool. And I'm surprised more people don't know about it, but I think it's just a matter of time.
It's a matter of time, and I got to always remind myself I'm new. I'm a pioneer in this, and it's becoming, in just the last 5 years, there are more people talking about ED than ever before that I know of.
Yeah.
And there are more people trying things in clinics to treat it. They just don't have the secret sauce to it. And so, to help that, what we decided to do once the patent got issued, we actually licensed the patent out to other physicians in the
That's
country.
cool.
We have like 20 right now, and it's not very many. But here's the problem: every time I get on a podcast, I love it, but my phone rings with patients. Well, I can't help them all, and I have a list of patients in every state. Every state I got that I just keep the spreadsheet building. I get invited on a lot of podcasts, and I'm excited about that. But because I get the awareness out there. But we're building a huge patient referral system, and I got no place to send them to. So I'm desperately looking for physicians that want to take this on. It's a great cash business. It does well. Insurance won't pay for it. Although I say that, we have had success with Blue Cross Blue Shield paying for it.
Nice.
But it really is cash, and it's not difficult to do.
Yeah.
The doctor don't even have to do it. He can delegate it to a mid-level and be fine. So that's what we're trying to do. My first goal is get one in every state and then to get multiple in every state. But I really need it because I think we got over 100 patients right now on the list.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And
Ridiculous.
if it's nationwide too, you're gonna definitely need that because I think Gainswave is the same way where it's like it's not just one place that they operate out of. Like
Right.
everybody can purchase um the things they need to do the therapy, and then you can just kind of do as long. I think there's like a course or something involved. I can't remember. I did have a practitioner on the show a while back, and they basically said like, yeah, I got the license to use it. I know what to do. So I guess in the same vein, you almost just got to set that up and have like,
Yep.
okay, this is a quick, crash course on how to do it. Make sure you're doing it properly. Follow these
Yeah,
proper parameters, and good to go.
we completely train them. Like, I had a patient fly in from New York, from Long Island, and I said, we got to practice in Long Island that will do it, and he said, yeah, but it's not you. You invented it. I said, yeah,
Yeah.
but I trained him. I mean, and I work with all these doctors all the time. And so he finally trusted and went, and I appreciate that. But I mean, your options, you fly here from New York every other week
Yeah.
or go see our guy in Long Island and get it done. But so,
yeah, especially a place like New York that's extremely populated. You're probably gonna need about 5 practitioners just in that one little place alone.
oh my gosh. Yeah. Bad.
And I mean, the thing is too, the way things are going, it's an issue that I think is gonna become more, unfortunately, like, recurrent, man. Like, there's more people getting sick every single day, and unfortunately, I think it does have to do a lot with living in the big cities. But one thing you did mention, that I did see in the show notes that I wanted to ask you about is why do we need to bring sexual dysfunction into the longevity field? Like, why is that an issue, and what's the correlation between that?
Great question. Sex is more important to your body and emotions and mental state than after 50 than before 50. There are so many things that happen inside the body during sex. There's chemical releases, hormone releases. There's things that get released in your brain and endorphins that flood your body that are so healthy. And so, people think, well, that's just part of our life we've aged out of. We're now 65 and we just don't have sex anymore. That's
Mhm.
horrible, number one, because we're created to be that way.
Mhm.
That's how we were designed. So the reason why you're not having sex is not because you don't want to, it's because you can't. So let's
Yeah.
fix that because it's so important. Think about it. Sex on average lasts 8 minutes. Um, your heart rate goes up for 8 minutes. Your blood is pumping like crazy throughout your whole body for 8 minutes. Chemical oxytocin's released, MC1, MC2. I mean, there's so many different chemicals released in your brain, and your body's just flooded full of endorphins. It actually gives you energy. I've heard people say before, when I have sex, I want more sex, and
Yeah.
it's true. It's because you like the way your body liked the way it responded from that.
Mhm.
So, but after 50, sex is very important. So the more sex you're having, the longer you're living.
Interesting. Because I was watching somebody else talk about this, a sex therapist that said like you should have like a standard of at least be having sex anywhere from 1 to 3 times per week, right? Especially at that
Absolutely.
age. And I'm like, the thing is too, it's like usually your kids are older by then. You should have more free time.
It's
There
right.
should be less excuses, right? And it is a nice stress release.
Absolutely. And, not only that, but when the kids are grown, all of a sudden you got more money. You're like, where'd all this money come from? Right.
Yeah.
Kids are so, but I mean, go have fun with it. Go for a weekend, get a hotel somewhere for a weekend, go have fun with it. Don't, and start dating again. Back when you
Mhm.
were young, dating, it was all exciting and it made you feel alive and full. The same thing will happen now.
Mhm.
Go have
Mm.
fun with it.
Yeah, and I guess one of the important factors for men is to make sure that you're good to go too, right? Because that's another thing that you don't want to fall into that trap. It's like, okay, I got the time, I got the resources, but now I don't have the equipment that works anymore. And that's
That's
where they
right.
got to come see you. So before you leave today, Jeff, let me know where can we find you and where can we reach out to you? And is there
So
a place that you have like to reach out, like a directory to all your practitioners?
I do. I have two different websites. One is RegenMax.com, RegenMax.com. And then I have the local clinic site, which is Sexual Wellness Center. So it's swcofUSA.com. And so those two, the RegenMax.com site will have a lot of information on there.
Okay.
That'll help you understand and learn more. Our YouTube channel, we got quite a few good videos on there for educational purposes. And we have some great testimonials. It's really difficult to get people to give me a review or to do a testimonial because people don't know.
Yeah.
And I get that. I totally get that. But
yeah.
our YouTube channel is RegenMax, FORED, RegenMax, FORED. And there's quite a few videos on there that you could go to and really educate yourself on it.
Yeah.
So we're also on LinkedIn. We're on all the stuff out there, but that's the best way to get a hold of us is the websites. And then for information, really go to
100%.
YouTube. We have an interview on there on YouTube with a guy named Casey Kalicki. And this guy, it was an hour-long interview. And he just broke down in tears and said,
Jeez.
He wanted to kill himself because he's 45 years old and could not perform. That's how devastating it is to a man. People don't understand that. And if you're a man listening to this right now, you understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And women don't get it. And so they chide and hurt their husbands by talking about it or making sarcastic remarks about it. And you don't understand. When you get put in that position, I tell people all the time, I literally felt like I had to turn in my man card and say, I am no longer qualified. I felt like I was worthless. And a lot of people say, oh, that's so shallow because your penis ain't working. No, it's not shallow. It's how we're wired, number one.
Yeah.
So it's a fact. It really messes with you bad. And so I get it. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt and I threw it away. Don't want it again.
Yeah, no, it's a perfect way to, it's a perfect way to describe it. Cause I mean, anybody that's been there or been close to that, like there's times where I was a lot fatter where I'm just like, okay, it's not functioning the way that I would like, it's not optimal, but I still have some control over it. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to have everything almost appearing as though it should work and then just not having it actually do its thing, right? And the thing is too, it's like, I get it, it's not a performance like I once heard. However, it is your job to perform, and
That's right.
It's your job as a man. Like, I'm
That's
sorry, right? Like, going back to the whole gender identity crisis and everything that we got going on, I'm sorry, but as a man, I remember I had a teacher that told it to me like this, and he's like, listen, it's like this, bro. He's like, whether the lioness wants it or not, ultimately the lion's always got to be good to go. Because if he's not, the lioness, when she wants it and you're not ready, she's going to go. And now I heard that, I'm like, that stuck with me for the rest of my life. So
wow.
I think a lot of guys out there may think that they can kind of just white knuckle their way through it, but I'm like, hey, there's only so much Viagra and stuff that you can take. You should really look into different modalities. And that's where you come in, Jeff, and that's for RegenMax. I'm going to make sure I have all the links in the description. Truly value your time, man. This was eye-opening, and honestly, this was a shit ton of information packed into like 45 minutes, bro. But this was it was awesome. And I really hope anybody that is struggling out there that is listening to the podcast, please reach out. All the links will be in the description. And Jeff, thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
Thank you so much. I am so grateful. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.